Hello, Internet. This was actually not supposed to be a home update video, but I got some really exciting news yesterday. So as I do, I pivoted with this video. So like last summer or fall, I was on Facebook Marketplace and I saw that this guy had slabs from a sequoia tree. That's really unusual on the East Coast because I think that the rules with sequoias in California, which is their native range, is that you can't really harvest them unless they fall, and they're very protected. So you don't really see sequoia wood all that often. You especially don't see it out here, because I think for the most part when it's harvested out there, it stays out there. But what happened was someone in my hometown decided to grow a sequoia tree like a long time ago, and it got really big. I'm surprised that it survived here, but it got really big. And eventually though, because this is not its native range and it wouldn't, it's not gonna live thousands of years here, it got sick and they were gonna cut it down. So someone contacted this guy who lives in my hometown and I don't know what the word is. He's not I guess he's a carpenter. He doesn't make the furniture himself. He cuts the trees into slabs or boards. Whatever that kind of person is, that's what he is. His name is Tommy. Someone contacted Tommy about this sequoia, and they said, hey, we have this tree that we're gonna cut down. Are you interested? And he was like, hold on. And he just dropped everything, went out there, and ended up getting, I think, 8 slabs from it, 8 really, really big slabs. So I was on Facebook Marketplace and I saw this listing for these sequoia slabs in my hometown. And he wrote in the listing that they were from a sequoia grown in my hometown. And I thought, that is so incredible. That's just so unique. It's such a cool story. I love stories behind furniture and objects in general. So I went out there with Justin. We looked at the slabs that he had, picked one out. It's been a long process going from picking the slab to drying it. I think Tommy had to move his whole workshop a couple times for various reasons. And then he wasn't working with a particular carpenter anymore that we wanted to go with. So we found someone else named Matt, who also lives near my hometown. I showed him some pictures of dining tables that I had in mind. We're gonna keep the slab has a really nice kind of live edge to it. So it's gonna be a live edge dining table. I showed him some ideas for a trestle style table, and he made a rendering of it that I approved, and he built it, and now it's done, and it's gonna be delivered tomorrow. And it feels like I've been waiting for it forever. I'm just so thrilled that it's finally gonna be here. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So tonight, I'm scrambling to straighten up the sunroom to make a space for this. And in that process of making room for the dining table, I'm also trying to plan what the final layout of the room is going to be. So to me, there are 2 preliminary steps when you're coming up with a floor plan. The first step is to figure out the function of the room. That's the most important step. You have to think about how you're going to use the space, and it's helpful to write this down. If you're moving into a new space and you're not really sure how you're going to use it yet, an exercise that I have found helpful is to kind of close your eyes and what's the scene that comes up in your mind? Who's there? How many people are there? What are you doing? Is it your friends? Is it your family? So now you've come up with those scenes in your head, it's also important to think about your actual life, because sometimes when you're thinking about when you're coming up with these scenes in your head, sometimes those can be a little bit divorced from reality, I've found. So also think about how you live now. How many people are in your family? What are their ages? What do they do? Do you entertain? How many people do you have over when you entertain? What kinds of people do you have over when you entertain? Do you have pets? How do you work? How do you eat dinner? Think about the things that you do every day and the spaces that you would like to have to do those things. So to recap, first step is to come up with things that you want to do in the room and things that you are practically going to do in the room, and come up with a list of functions that you need the room to serve. Once you've done that, the second step is to consider the features of the room. Features that you definitely can't change or can't change without spending a ton of money. Examples of these features include windows, lighting, HVAC systems, flooring. It's especially helpful to come up with a pros and cons list for the room, because a lot of times the pros and cons are closely related to things that you can't change about the room. A pro about this room is it has incredible lighting. It has 2 skylights, it has 2 walls of windows looking into the backyard. Love it. Con, it's a long, narrow room, and sometimes it's harder to come up with layouts for rooms like that. Related to the second step, I would say is like step 2A, which is considering furniture that you already have that you definitely want to use. That should be, those furniture pieces should be the anchors of your floor plan, and then you build on from that. So to me, I have one furniture piece right now that is very, very important to me that I'm going to build off of, and that's this dining table. So when I do draw the floor plan, that's gonna be where I start. So this is the current sunroom floor plan. If you have CAD or SketchUp or some kind of software where you can easily input this, then great. If not, I recommend just getting some grid paper like this so that you can do a scale drawing. It's a little bit tedious to go around and measure your room, but it is really important so that you know exactly how things are going to fit. So that's what I did. I went and measured everything. We have all the doors, windows, outlets, and I have the skylights and ceiling fan roughly marked in here as well. So right now, when you walk in, we have the TV, a side table, a shoe rack, a little IKEA cubby for the dog stuff here. The sofa is over here facing the TV. We have a side table. There is a coffee table here that I forgot to draw. Bar cart, a credenza where we keep some of the dishes that are used less. The other place where we keep the other dishes is in the living room. My little outdoor IKEA dining table, 2 antique beach chairs, a plant stand, and then the doors go into the living room, and then these are the walls of windows. I also drew in this ledge here that conceals the baseboard heat. And then the sliding glass door that goes outside is over here. This setup doesn't really work right now. When you're planning a TV viewing area, you really, really don't want the path of travel to cut between the seating area and the TV. And that's exactly what we have right now. This is the entrance that we use, and you just walk right in between there to get outside, and it's just not great. The reason why I picked this layout originally is because this wall is the largest solid wall in the room. This is also a solid wall, but it has this window here that goes into the kitchen. So we couldn't fit our TV here or here, so it really had to go on this wall. The TV isn't actually attached to this wall. It's sitting on a TV stand. This is a masonry wall, so attaching the TV to the wall would be a little bit more work than it would be if it were drywall. But I find that TVs look a little bit more stable and a little bit more grounded if they're in front of a solid wall instead of in front of a window. So that's why I put that there originally, but it just isn't working. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do instead here. The TV is now going to go over here. This is a window, so it's gonna have to go on a stand, which isn't ideal, but I think we can deal with it. This is going to be the seating and TV area in this corner. I think we're gonna get a different sofa eventually. This is going to be the dining area, and then we'll have storage here on that wall. I think that that will be a way better layout than the current one. So this is the actual view of the sunroom right now. It's okay, it's served us fine for the last year and a half or so that we've been here, but definitely ready for a change, especially since the dining table is coming tomorrow. So I'm gonna start moving stuff around here. All right, guys, welcome back. Guess who's here? Not my dining table. So I was at work today and got a call from the carpenter, and he said, hey, I'm really, really sorry, but my delivery guy had a family emergency and he's not gonna be able to deliver tonight. So no table just yet. I don't actually know when it's coming because we were talking about rescheduling and just like couldn't really come up with a date that worked for both of us. So it's TBD, but we're gonna do the second pivot of this episode. Tonight we're just going to kind of start the reorganization, re-layout process for the sunroom, and we'll see how we like having the TV/seating area on the other side of the room. So I had some concerns initially, but I was looking at some inspiration pictures today, and I think that if I change some of the furniture, then I think that we're gonna have a good setup. And the windows. What are you doing? Hey, what are you eating? Stop eating stuff.